It is the Riot podcast.
Oh, there it is.
I'm actually really sleepy.
Did you say you took a nap yesterday, or was it the day before?
No, I didn't. It was 2 days ago.
Maybe you can take a nap today.
Maybe I could, right?
Maybe as you listen to the soothing sounds of this podcast, you'll gently fall asleep and have a wonderful nap today.
Actually, yesterday was like wall-to-wall busy. Like
really?
One of those things where it's like you just woke up and I eventually left work, but then it was all stuff all day.
Get that done now.
Yeah.
Get it done today, so then tomorrow there is no busy.
That sounds good to me.
Better to have it busy on these days than it is on a Friday and a weekend.
Yeah. So, hey, in today's podcast, we've got a rental service that I want, but I don't think anybody else does.
Not at that price.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but everybody else is going to pay for it. I'm just going to enjoy the benefits of it.
Okay.
We talk about Nick getting his teeth pulled.
Yes.
Ubercopter. Nikki's Big Mac Coins, Obadiah's Bitcoins, doorbells, more McDonald's stuff, watching the World Cup in 4K, my birthday, calling the police.
All the wonderful stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Again, hopefully this will help soothe you for your nap. You could just fall asleep to the voices that we have.
Yeah. So you guys enjoyed today's podcast?
Thank you so much for listening. We'll have more details starting tomorrow's podcast. We've got an upcoming Riot live event, which we'll do an evening show on Facebook next week. We're going to do a game night, so we'll let you know the game and the details tomorrow.
So everybody good?
Enjoy the day.
Bye. It's the Riot.
The whining, the loathing, the insightful commentary on postmodern historical doctrine. Okay, maybe not the last one. You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
All I need is an extra $1,000 a month. I don't see that as a big deal. So, where do you get that extra $1,000? Like maybe this month I don't buy that Apple monitor stand.
Just a stand, nothing else.
And, boom, there's $1,000 this month. And, we'll just see and believe for where the $1,000 is going to come for, next month.
Now, do you need to save the $1,000 or do you need to make $1,000?
No, I'm going to be signing up for Hertz's new vehicle subscription service called Hertz My Car.
Is it $1,000 a month?
It's $1,000 a month, but what it does is it lets you choose from full-size sedans, small SUVs, and trucks. And for $1,000 a month, you pick and choose? You're just borrowing a car?
Now, I feel like there's been a couple other companies that are trying to start that.
Enterprise has a similar program, it says.
So you're basically renting a car that you can exchange in and out.
Mm-hmm. Now, with Hertz, you can only exchange it twice a month.
Yes. So
Enterprise will let you do it 4 times a month, but it's a lot more expensive.
I feel like it's a movie pass program where you're like, you can only go see one movie a month or one movie a week.
Well, it's definitely that thing, the subscription service.
Yeah, but $1,000 a month?
It's an odd thing that nobody wants us to own anything anymore. They just want us to rent it from them. Like, no. We own it, but you can rent it.
So if you think $1,000, that's way more than anybody's car payment is for the month. So
well, yeah, it is. But if you
and you're not actually getting in, well, you're just renting.
I could see where if you were in a certain income bracket, this might seem smart. But the other thing that you have to say to yourself is that for $12,000, you could buy a probably, what do you say, like a
adequate?
car, $50,000, $60,000, mid-sized sedan, whatever. And then you could put, let's say 50, 60, 150,000 miles on that car, and it would probably do you just fine.
I mean, this at $1,000 a month, and plus it's the whole car insurance thing. You know how stressful it is when you rent a car? It's like, are you supposed to pay for the car insurance? Does your insurance cover the car insurance?
That's a good question, actually.
Is it really $1,000 a month, or is it going to be $1,000 plus extras?
So the Hertz plan includes vehicle maintenance, roadside assistance, vehicle damage, and limited liability protection.
Oh, see, I'm a little worried about that lingo right there.
Limited liability.
So you still have to have yours, but if you have money to burn, I guess, but only being able to change your car twice a month does not seem like get a couple of friends and have a better insurance policy where you could just borrow each other's cars.
That's interesting. The other option is you can go $1,400 a month. That gives you access to luxury sedans.
A lot of money a month for cars.
Full-size SUVs and large trucks.
But again, only twice a month. That's. I would hope it'd be more. Okay, so that's my response on it.
That you need more swaps.
Well, maybe once a week. So give me 4.
Well, that's the enterprise thing is you can swap out that, man. It's totally impractical in such a waste, but wouldn't that be fun to just feel like every week you're like, I'm feeling something different today?
What do I feel like I want to drive this week?
And you just keep showing up in different cars. I think that would be a lot of fun. I would love that.
I think the novelty of that would wear off.
It would take a while.
Because you just want to make yourself at home in your car.
No.
No?
No.
Don't you want to spill things and make it messy and not worry and just, live in it?
No, Nikki, what you just said is exactly what you could do. Spill things, whatever, and not worry, because then instead of washing the car, you're just like, I'll just get another one.
You say that, but then we go back to those words, limited liability, and I'm all worried again.
Hey, look, we got to do a deep dive on the contract, okay? But if you guys want to help me, I'm doing a Patreon. It's an Obadiah's car thing.
If you want to help out with that.
You help me, get this car thing.
So that's $1,000 a month for the Hertz one, or you can do the $1,400. Is that the enterprise one, or is that the other Hertz program?
I don't have the pricing. Like, Hertz has 2 tiers, and I don't know what the enterprise pricing is. I just know Hertz is cheaper, but I mean, I do like enterprise, I guess. And
then you got to go to the rental, or do they bring it to you? See, that'd be nice if you could just call and have him go to the app, have him deliver it. But I might be asking too much at that point.
Do you want me to just have them do the driving for you?
Well, now there you go. That's $1,000 a month. Now we're talking about what I'm actually getting for it.
I see this.
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So Nick, the news guy, who you hear, is out today, and he's out tomorrow because yesterday he had a wisdom tooth pulled.
Yeah, he had one removed.
Now get a load of this. He told me, because I checked in with him last night, not talking, texting, because I don't even know if he can talk.
I mean, he did have a tooth removed. That can cause problems.
So he said that guy comes in, they basically numbed half his face. He comes in with pliers. 5 minutes later, done.
He's done.
That's it.
I mean, I guess when you only have one done, maybe his was so ready to go, it didn't cause any problems. Why is that so easy, though?
I don't know. Doesn't sound like it was a big deal for him. Mine went on for somewhere between an hour and 15 minutes and an hour and a half. And yours, didn't they say that yours broke apart too, or they were so impacted you had to really get them out? For him, maybe his was just we're coming out. It's just one of them. Yeah, they said they were chipping pieces off my jaw because they couldn't get it to come off, which is just
what you want to hear after. I mean, that means they got all the pieces.
It was a great experience, and I'm so glad I did it.
Aren't you glad Nick had a good time?
I mean, yes,
compared to the horror stories that we've also heard.
I mean, it's not like I wanted him to be a train wreck. It's just one of those things when the thing that's really hard for you, someone does with the greatest of ease. It's just one more thing where you're like, man, seriously?
You wonder then what's really wrong with you? You're like, why was it so hard?
Why is it that I am seemingly selected out of the masses for, hey, this could go wrong, but it never does, and don't worry?
Listen, I bet you if he had all 4 of them taken out, it would have been a lot harder.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm going to keep telling myself that as just a matter of comfort.
Yeah, I mean,
as the day progresses.
And plus, then he missed out on the Twilight stuff. He didn't even get to take a good nap with that stuff.
I didn't have fun with that, though. Here's the thing I do remember. I do remember my dad basically babysitting me for the majority of the day. So, he took me to have it done and whatever. And they told me to get, as soon as it was over, that I could eat something, but get soft foods or whatever, and to get some food in my stomach. Because, you know why they want you to do that? Because you're bleeding down your throat.
Well, it's going to make you nauseous, and you need food. And then also your pain medicine will make you nauseous, so you need more food. I
remember my dad taking us to KFC, and we went into CVS to get my pain medicine and whatever the heck else I had to take. And he left me in the car with the KFC, and I remember trying to drink the gravy. And he came out and he's just like, what are you doing? And I remember just somehow thinking that I had to.
But yet.
No, but I remember thinking I had to eat something, because they were so hardcore about it. And I remember thinking that I can't eat the mashed potatoes, but I could drink some of this gravy and it would help.
So you have to drink it.
And I know I made a mess, but I don't know. And I can remember enough of it for it being no, this makes sense. This is what I need to drink.
So do you think we should check with Nick and maybe send him some gravy? Yeah, be like, here, cheers.
I think he's doing fine. He also, next Thursday, so a week from today, we're doing the RIOT live game night thing. When he got done having his teeth pulled, I checked in with him, and he was producing a spot, which we better listen to it before we air it.
But otherwise, he's been working.
Other than that, he seems like he must be doing...
Well, good. Well, I'm glad, because the harder thing about if you're having any wisdom teeth removed is, like, if you're over 15, it gets harder and harder, like, every year. So it's better to pull them when you're younger, but Nick never did.
Well, best of luck to him. That's all I know.
I think
he's sleeping in right now.
I think if you've not had him pulled yet and you're always listening to us talk about like, oh, your wisdom teeth getting pulled and the perils that can come with it, you should be like, listen, I think I need to get them pulled. And
do it now.
Even if they're not bothering you as much, get them all pulled.
If you think it's in your future at all, do it now, man.
Unless you want to drink gravy. Maybe that sounds good.
And then you can blame it on the drugs at least. It's not me. It's the medicine.
It's the medicine made me drink all that.
It's not my fault.
You're listening to a morning show hosted by two people who absolutely despise getting up in the morning.
Will you give me a break one time?
The Riot, RadioU.
Guys, girls, people, did you know tomorrow's National Donut Day?
Be aware.
And remember what Nikki and I have been trying to teach you for so long, that if you fail to
plan,
then you plan to
fail.
So here in this great country, we're not celebrating local donut day.
No.
It's not state donut day. It's National Donut Day.
But don't be afraid to celebrate on a local level by finding a local donut shop better than sometimes the national ones.
Remember, local's part of national, but national's not part of local.
That's how that works.
It's how that works. So it looks like the people up north are trying to invade our National Donut Day and make it an International Donut Day. I don't know if I can go to Tim Hortons for National Donut Day. This is a day for jingoism. This is a day for USA. USA.
But Tim Hortons has been here forever.
I know, but I just don't know if I feel right about it, okay? But they went and did something that sounds pretty darn good.
Picture looks pretty good.
So tomorrow for National Donut Day, Tim Hortons is apparently one day only, if I'm reading this correctly, creating the churro donut. So it's a cruller that is covered in cinnamon sugar.
It's a honey cruller donut.
Right. And then it's filled
sweet
with
caramel filling.
Yeah, caramel filling there. So
then you have a dusting of cinnamon sugar on the exterior, so it's like a churro, but it's like a donut, but it's a cruller. And it's cruel that it's only out one day.
I like the idea of that caramel cream that's in there, though. So, like... Yeah.
So it'll start June 7th. Actually, here we go. Participating Tim Horton locations, it'll make a national launch on June 12th.
Oh, so it's not. All right.
And that is until it runs out. So limited time, but for sure starting tomorrow for National Donut Day.
Well, you know what? Like all Tim Hortons donuts, I'll bet it looks really good, but tastes disappointing.
And that goes back to our national donut celebration sort of thing. They just always have a perfect form to them, and they're made just a certain way.
Like
whereas
robots.
Locally, they'll add a little extra of the cream filling or the caramel drizzle, all that stuff. It's just more, it's got more heart in it.
You know what, though? This I will say. Like, I've been trash talking Tim Hortons a bit, but there's one thing that's true, Nikki. The Timbit is a glorious thing.
Yes, that is.
Now, that's a different... We're in a whole different ball game. Things have changed.
That's not right for tomorrow, though. You want the full donut. That's the whole thing.
You know, Nikki, if you eat enough Timbits...
Yeah, you can't make a donut.
It's like a full donut.
And actually, you want to know ahead of time so you know just how many you should be eating.
I love Timbits. So good. So good. I mean... Let's talk about them for a long time.
So tomorrow is National Donut Day, and that's just a reminder for the churro donut. It'll be at Tim Hortons tomorrow, and then participating locations for a limited time nationwide on June 12th.
Yeah, so this is just us reminding you couldn't possibly watch what you eat tomorrow. I mean, it's National Donut Day.
I wonder.
So let's just wait until Monday.
The one up from us, it was kind of weird yesterday. I drove past it. They had balloons out, which makes me look, because I love balloons. But they had this tent at the entrance, and I thought, are you allowed to, like, camp there? Or were they doing, like, are they getting ready for a promotion for tomorrow and you can camp out?
Or do you think it's a trap and you go in there and you get arrested?
That also felt like that. I couldn't tell what it was.
They contacted all of the outstanding warrants in the area and told them they want a free dozen donuts.
If you come on in. Now, at first, I thought it was someone who was camping there who was not allowed to.
Yeah.
But then when I saw the balloons tied around the outside of the place, I thought it must be some sort of sanctioned event.
Well, maybe we should go up there and find out.
We'll have to see.
The worst thing that happens is we walk out with donuts.
But that's probably something in, getting people ready for tomorrow.
Man, I want to prep for tomorrow. Maybe do some donut warm-ups today.
You could.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
You may remember that earlier this year, McDonald's got into cryptocurrency.
It was last year.
Was it last year?
It was last year. That's part of the story.
Wow, it's been that long?
It was 2018.
Okay, because Nikki got very excited about the Big Mac Coin.
I've always been a fan of the Big Mac.
You have?
That's no secret on this show.
Hey, listen, I'm not mad at you, and neither is Ronald.
I like little gold coins that have little pictures of it. They know what to do. They know how to get me. I probably would have been a pirate back in the day.
I didn't make the connection, but Nikki does like little gold coins.
I think it's perfect.
Okay, so
it was last year they came out with like 5 of the collectible coins.
Yes.
And you could go for one day, and then when you didn't want any more, you could take it back and then turn the coin in for a free Big Mac.
Yes.
So I ended up collecting all 5 coins, and I had 2 extras. So I kept all 5, and I was like, well, I'll just go and use the 2 extras at my leisure to go get a free Big Mac. So yesterday I went to McDonald's, and it was
the day.
It was a mess inside, an absolute mess. And because I had to use the coin, they pushed everybody to use the kiosks, and I needed to go and order at the counter.
Yeah.
There were so many people waiting on their food, and it was to the point where all the employees were not even acknowledging how bad it was going for the shift.
Pause. Can you tell me which McDonald's it was?
That one up there.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we ended up leaving, and then I went to the McDonald's down over there. To the other side, because I thought, well, I don't want to wait. I'll just go over there. So I go in, and I'm going to we have 2 coins to use.
This is a lot of effort just to get 2 Big Macs.
Well, I don't want to spend any money. I wanted to use my McDonald's money.
I get it.
So we go in there, and it's a mess in there as well. Absolutely crazy. There's like 20 cars in the drive-thru. We go in. It's crowded, and again, I have to go up to the counter. And they're like, what's this? Because I give them the Big Mac coin. And the manager from afar yells, oh, yeah, we don't take those anymore. And I thought they were good for like forever, but they were only good for last year. So you can't actually use the coins.
So just like my Bitcoin, your McDonald's currency
it's absolutely worthless.
Has just tanked.
But I just want to tell you what happened that was more important than the fact that my Big Mac coins. So it's like a zoo in there. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, no, I believe you.
Everybody seems to be not having enough employees. So, you go make your order. The guy who took our order, everything was just wrong. And I felt bad for the manager because he was having to go walk out the food to everybody in the sort of food area. Everybody was so mad at each other because different orders were going to the wrong people. So there was this lady there, and she was so mad. She had like 5 kids around her.
Yeah.
And she just got so annoyed. I think must have been her son, but I think they brought other friends. And so she was threatening him to stop touching everything. And so she threatened him that if he touched one more thing, he would lose the ability to touch anything else ever again.
Awesome.
Yelled it out at him.
Awesome.
And then they kept going.
You know what? That is I feel like that's an eloquent threat.
It was smooth, too.
If you touch something else again, you will lose the ability to touch anything again ever.
A wrong order comes to the table, so she gets more mad as we go on. And I was like, yeah, I understand, because I couldn't use my Big Mac coin. Like, we were all mad.
Yeah.
And then she said the best thing to him ever. She was mad.
This is to the son or the server?
To the son. She was mad because he was still being, I guess, rude to her. And she was telling him that she was going to call the credit card company to cancel the football that she had just bought him so that she couldn't have it anymore and he couldn't have it. And he was still mouthing off back at her. And so she goes, well, what? You still have Xbox Live, don't you? I heard you on it last night. And she said she was going to cancel Xbox Live and he can have 2 Dixie cups and a string to talk to his friends. I was dying. I was like, that's the best thing I ever string. Oh, it's just great. So though my Big Mac coins were not currency I could use, and I didn't want to go in, but I had to, it made it all.
It was worth it.
It was totally worth it to hear someone threaten someone with that. I thought that was the best ever.
Wow.
2 Dixie cups and a string.
You know, the only thing I wonder is, like, how old was the kid?
I'd say probably 12.
Okay, so he was old enough to truly understand the threat.
Yes.
I was like, you know, I feel like at a certain age, threats like that probably aren't effective.
No. It was more effective than the you'll never be able to touch anything else ever again. That seemed more like an empty threat.
You've still got Xbox Live, huh? That's cool. We can cancel that.
Because he was like, no, I don't. And she's like, I heard you want it. So it was quite a lunch yesterday. I now have...
That's great.
Wasn't it the best threat ever? I have 7 Big Mac coins that are not worth anything. And I was a little sad about that.
Okay, just to be clear, Nikki, they are worth something.
No, not anymore.
To you.
Now that I know I don't.
To you.
Can sell them like the complete set for like $25 on eBay, but
that's worth more than 5 Big Macs.
Apparently. Just was very disappointed that I couldn't use them when I thought I could.
Or you could see if you could trade them for a couple of Dixie cups and a string, and then you and I could talk when the show's over.
I could have given him to the boy.
Are people really still listening to the Riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
So we were just talking about how Nikki invested heavily in McDonald's coin.
I only bought 7, or I didn't buy them. Well, like kind of like the McDonald's thing last time.
I don't remember.
If you bought a Big Mac, then you got a coin, and then it was just random.
And how many days did that go on?
1 day.
So the real story here is not that they won't accept your coins. It's that in one day you bought 7 Big Macs.
I didn't. Eric helped too. And then remember, we all went to lunch that day?
Yeah.
Did you come? And
No.
so I think Michael and Chris got a coin too, or people donated to the cause.
Yeah.
So I could have all the coins.
It's interesting, Nikki. I noticed there's a theme, like you never go to lunch unless you have something
invested in it.
You want to get out of
if we had more gold coins at lunch, I would come for sure.
We're down now to where like 1.5 people go to lunch.
Well, then
once
you guys
a week.
pick the pizza place, usually where everybody smells or the pizza does.
Oh,
it makes
Nikki,
everybody
you know what?
smell.
Did we tell you that the one pizza place is closed now?
Which one?
Goose Pizza.
Which, the one over there?
Yeah.
I only went there once, so.
It's pretty good, but we walked in there and like where the buffet is, they just had a little sign, no more buffet.
Oh, so the pizza place is still there, but not the lunch buffet?
No more buffet. So then we ended up going to another buffet. And now we're down to one buffet in the area.
That's all we've got left.
Chinese buffets, though, you got all day. But like you want pizza. So I was thinking for your Big Mac coin, which has done so poorly, I thought I'd go ahead and check on my Bitcoin.
Hey, how did you get it? You got offered through the Cash App.
Through the Cash App, which is like a Square Pay thing. I had $22 that people had cashed me over time, and I was like, you know what? Let's just buy Bitcoin and see what happens.
Which you can do through it.
You can.
Because they kept promoting it. And this was maybe a couple years ago?
I think about a year. So at one point, I saw it go all the way up from $22 to $29. Then I saw it drop all the way down to $11. As of right now, my initial $22 investment is back at $20.54.
Hey, it's up.
So, I mean, that is a rebound of some kind there.
That's a pretty impressive rebound. Now, you can never cash that out.
No, never.
It's so difficult to do that, even through the app.
It actually isn't easy to get your money back.
Maybe it is now. I mean, we haven't checked in a while, but I guess it's just the fun of having it in there.
Hey, you know what? I say we stick with it.
Well, nothing like investing in some items that end up not being worth much when you check them a year later.
So much money. I'm
That's
just
all right.
rolling in it, guys.
It has taught us a lesson to maybe not jump into spending our money that is currently worth something.
Well, you know what? I don't feel bad about it. Like, I don't feel bad about my little foray into it. It's fine.
It's just $20. It's all right.
I'm comfortable with it. I mean, I don't want to be spending my money all willy-nilly. And yet at the same time, there was okay.
Which is why we're not, investing in any companies, doing stocks or anything like that. We're not doing that.
No, we're not.
This is our own version of that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Well, I'm glad it's back up.
Yeah,
I thought for a while there you were going to have to owe more money. It would be under.
In fairness, Nikki, it's worth more than your Big Mac coins are.
I think so.
So I really think the answer here is that if you're looking for investment advice, you are in the wrong place.
This is not the room to ask. And if it is, then I don't think we can guarantee that you're actually going to make anything.
No, which is why this is not a good place to ask.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
I've got friends. I'm not going to say their names, whatever, but they're real upbeat, positive, like forward momentum kind of people. Mm-hmm. That it's weird. I'm not around them when they wake up, but I assume when they wake up, they're probably just like doing one-arm push-ups, and they're just like, man, we're going to take today. We're going to rip it in half.
They're seizing the day.
It's unreal what is going to be happening today. I can't believe it.
It is something when you meet someone who's so enthusiastic so early in the morning.
And then, you follow them on Facebook, and it's weird how, like, they find people like them. So they're always like posting all these videos of other people that are just like, man, I will tell you what, God is so good. You don't even know how good he is. And like, all this kind of stuff. And there are times when I'm just like, man, God, could you explain to me why they're like that? And this morning I laid on the ground calling out your name that you would help raise this body from the dead.
You didn't post that this morning to encourage somebody?
What is it? You're the same, I think, for them as you are for me. So what's wrong with me? What is the problem? Now, I'm saying all this to say this. If you look at a bunch of people, different people that know Jesus, and you see videos or this and that, and you're like, oh, I could never be like that person, that's okay. Don't worry about it. You don't have to be like anybody else. You can be you, and that's fine. And God is not going to be like, all right, now I love you, but when I'll really start loving you is when you start doing one-arm push-ups when you get out of bed, when you get up and start saying super enthusiastic, upbeat things. And yeah, look, I'm not here to preach positivity to you, the power of positivity. I'm here to talk about the power of God, and that God himself wants to be friends with you. God is not looking to, it's a strange thing because God loves us as we are, but he doesn't leave us that way. But that being said, don't worry. He doesn't need you to suddenly turn into a motivational speaker that's just like, man, everything is great.
Just because you see others who are that way.
And to be clear, it's okay that they're the way they are, but it's okay that you are the way you are. God loves you. Don't feel the pressure to suddenly look or dress or be somebody else. That's the amazing thing that I'm trying to get across, is that God loves you for who you are. So when I was laying in the closet like, God was like, oh, I just love you. You're wonderful. He may have been trying to get me up. But I want you to know.
In a nice way, though.
Right. Yeah. He didn't love me any less than if I had woken up and I was just like straight into jumping jacks. You know what I'm saying? I have this rope by the side of my bed so I can jump rope as soon as I wake up. It's fine. Like, I don't need to do that. And you don't need to do that. God loves you the way you are, but still loves you enough to help you. If you don't have a relationship with Jesus, come on. Say, Jesus, I need that. I want you in my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. I want to accept your love for me. Show me what it's like to be loved. Show me how to live. Dude, that's something. God's right there with you on the floor in the closet.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on RadioU.
So, Nikki, Ubercopter is getting ready to open up in New York City.
Ooh, so if you don't want to take an Uber car and you're in a more like a high profile enough city, I think they were working on LA, maybe there was one in Texas, I thought, and then New York City, but it's instead of a car, it's a helicopter.
It is. So Ubercopter supposedly is going to open July 9th.
How much for a ride? I don't remember that part.
Between $200 and $225.
I guess what does that compare? Because we don't travel by helicopter, but if you're
not very often,
if you're wealthy enough and you're in a city where traffic is a huge issue, there are people that travel that way. We're just not in those circles.
Yeah.
I wonder if you do a helicopter share program, like you use one of those companies, how much would that be per ride compared to Ubercopter?
Do you think maybe we should pretend to be really hurt and see if we can get airlifted like that one woman did?
From yesterday, no.
Did you guys see that video yet?
Yeah, she was fine.
We tweeted it, and we saw
fine.
a few people that were like, "How can you make fun of this woman?"
Well, no, because they thought she was being life flighted out.
She wasn't.
She was just in an area and she hurt her foot, so she could not walk out of there. They had to just take her out.
So they Ubercoptered her out.
Well, yeah, but I think your insurance, there was some Ubering or coppering after that part.
So the one thing they do say is that you will have, unlike Uber, where you can call a copter anywhere, there are predetermined flight paths that will be taken. So you'll be able to take, like, near the Staten Island Ferry in Manhattan, one near Kennedy Airport. Flight time's about 8 minutes. And I don't know where exactly the pickup locations are, et cetera, et cetera. But flights will have space for up to 5 passengers. You cannot bring luggage, though, you'll be able to bring essentially a
bag.
Lap. Yeah, like a bag that would sit on your lap. But, you can't be like, and here's my carry-on, and here's what I want stowed.
Which is a shame, because you would think the airport, like, if it would take you somewhere near there, but it's a weight issue.
Oh, don't say that to people, Nikki. That's terrible.
It's the weight in the helicopter.
See, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's
They'd
awful.
rather have you paying $200 than, not having the $200, but however much you weigh worth of luggage. Mm-hmm. So they'd rather have something that can pay them.
So let's see. What was the other thing I found here? Also, they have this. I thought it's interesting. These helipads where it's like licensed Uber, whatever. There will be a taxi waiting for you on the other side.
Of course. So you still have to. Well, it'd be an Uber.
I guess
you still have to Uber a car, even when having to Uber a helicopter.
Yeah,
I'm sure people will do it just for the Instagram.
Nikki, that for sure. But then you're just not thinking like. A Manhattanite.
You got to spend money in order to have that fast-paced lifestyle.
That's
you
right.
got to get to those meetings.
You know what, Nikki? My time is worth more than $225 for 8 minutes.
So you can't be sitting in traffic. You're losing money at that point.
That's exactly right. So you just got to do what you got to do, and I have to Ubercopter.
At this point, we're all like, hey, can I take one of the little scooters? You got to work your way up. You use one of the scooters on the street, and then you move on to like Ubering, and then you move up to an Ubercopter one day.
It's that, or you're just like,
or you're just walking.
If I join their rewards program, I get 3 cents off a gallon.
It's great.
That's really something. That 3 cents will add up over time now.
Hey, it'd be fun though if you could use the helicopter. That'd be great.
I've never ridden in a helicopter.
You never been on one?
No, never. That'd be cool.
I took one in Orlando once, like a little tour around.
Was it the Batcopter at the fair?
No, never. Oh, that thing's scary.
Why? It's 50 years old. No big deal.
If you ever go to your local fair and they have that very old-looking helicopter
with the Bat logo on it?
Yeah, I don't know if I feel comfortable enough with that.
Yeah! You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but I have to, because I have to tell you guys absolutely everything that I ever think at any moment. But this morning I woke up and I did skip my workout this morning. I slept. That was another.
You mean you had a rest day?
I had an extra 45 minutes of sleep. I figured, you know what? I could go running or I could sleep, and I'll just run later. I can't sleep later, but I can definitely run later.
Well, you can, but it'll be frowned upon.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different. So that's actually true, too. If you tack extra sleep onto your night of sleep, everybody's like, good job. Take a nap in the middle of the afternoon, and suddenly you're a bum.
You're lazy.
What's the difference? And here's the other thing I was thinking. Complete side note. We're off on a thing here. You know how they say, they're like, you can't take a nap and catch up on sleep.
Yeah.
If that was true, we'd all be dead.
Because we don't get enough sleep?
Right.
Yeah, but they say you can't bank it like on the weekend. So say you have a sleep deficit the entire week.
Right.
And you just constantly missing an hour here or there. And then sometimes people are like, that's fine. I'll sleep more on the weekend. I'll make it up then. They say that does not work for your body. The damage is already done during the week when you cannot catch up.
Pish
so then
tosh.
you
Pish
try on the
tosh.
weekend. So I don't know if that counts for someone within the day.
Yeah, like what if you take... So, okay, let's say that I'm
So the
only
day
getting...
should be fine.
I'm only getting 6 hours of sleep at night. Let's say that's it. But then in the afternoon, I have a siesta.
That's fine.
About an hour or so.
It
And then
would
I
be-
get up and you know what? I get up and go back to work.
It would be if you were waiting to the weekend and you thought that would help.
We should probably talk to a sleep specialist. But it's all a scam anyway.
I don't think they want to talk to us about it. They'd be very disappointed in our life choices and why we're not sleeping enough.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time getting to sleep at night, but I don't have any trouble sleeping in the morning.
That's just,
None.
isn't that weird?
I know.
It's even like, why can I fall asleep so easily for a nap in the afternoon? But at night, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah, I didn't get a nap yesterday. And, well, okay, there are other... Why are we talking about this?
You know,
Why are we
it's,
talking about it?
it's just something comfortable.
There are other, I know other morning show hosts, and almost all of them take an afternoon nap.
Sure.
Like, I mean, it is like, and when you start asking around people that host morning shows, they almost all have an afternoon nap. And at first I was like, that's ridiculous. And now I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I could see that.
Sure. 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever. And then you just get up and go right back to life, whatever. But, I get it now.
So what were you originally going to talk about?
You just want to save that for later?
I think if we just save it, we'll play a song, we'll come back. But I couldn't remember what it was at this point.
It's because I didn't say it.
Oh, you didn't say it yet? Okay. We'll talk about whatever that was in a moment.
This show's kind of dumb.
No, what do people want to talk about? Things that
Honesty.
affect their lives?
We're being honest right now.
No, everybody would rather hear about sleep-related items and food-related items
The news.
than any other news stuff any day.
Sure, that's true.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Today, you know what? Last night, for the first time, I felt like I had the first glimmer of excitement. Next week is E3, the Electronics Entertainment Expo. And I feel like in other years, we would have talked the crap out of that leading up to the event. And we just haven't talked about it very much at all.
So today is supposed to be is it Google Stadia?
Yes, and that's the embarrassing thing. I woke up this morning and
you were excited for that today? You're admitting that?
I was laying in bed and I was like, oh, they're going to...
It's Stadia Day!
I get to find out about Google Stadia today. And I just want you guys to know that when I had that thought, immediately you were all there with me shaming me, so I began shaming myself just right away.
That would be the response.
Right away began feeling bad about someone where I should be waking up like, there's another opportunity to impact the world, and I'm going to educate myself today. I'm going to be No, none of that. I literally woke up like, the Google's going to tell me about the Stadias.
So E3, the Electronics, Arts Expo, is every year, and it's always a fun time, to learn about the tech and game stuff that's coming out in the future. But for today, consoleless gaming is all the rage that every company
they want it to be
going to be pushing at you for the next, long part of your life. And Stadia is Google's one, and that's what their conference today is going to be announcing in order to get a jump on E3 for next week.
So today we're going to find out when it's available and how much it costs.
Each month.
You know what? The only thing I even care about is tell me how much it costs. Just tell me. I want to know what it costs.
They can't come out and tell you that.
It'll be the last thing they tell us.
They need to sandwich it with other stuff around it so that you hardly pay attention to that part.
Is this that thing where Michael tells us something nice, then bad, then nice again?
Then nice at the end? Yeah, it's a very common tactic.
Yeah. The thing I've noticed, though, is like Michael skips the nice now. Here's the mean.
Not just mean. It's a mean sandwich.
Just whatever. Hey, man, I'm hungry. That sounds good.
Are you wanting more gaming to where you would actually... You're a PC gamer and you use Steam a lot, and then you have all the consoles. Like, what else?
I don't think I necessarily want it or need it, or I certainly don't need it. But I'm just really curious about it because this is something that's completely new. And you're like, no, it's new-ish.
For bigger companies to do it.
This will be the largest company that has done something quite like this. Sony had something similar to it, but it just didn't, at least in my experience, didn't work really well. I would like to see what it is that Google's going to do, and I want to know as a gamer, what do companies think that I'm going to pay them in the future? Because I want to continue to play video games pretty much until I'm dead. There are already instructions to bury me with a controller. So I just want to know, like, okay,
what do they expect?
You guys think that you're going to get a certain part of my income. How much of my income do you think you're worth to me? I'll answer that question. I already may even have an answer, but I want to know what you think that is.
So that's what you'll find out today.
Yes, we will. And I'm also curious, like, well, what kind of games are available and who's going to be part of this and all that kind of stuff. So that's today. And then, man, they just going to be gaming news like mad for like 3 or 4 days.
Be prepared for next week to have a little bit more than normal.
That's true. But the good news is a lot of the info is going to hit over the weekend. So I won't even have to tell you guys. I'll be at home talking to my stuffed animals, telling them about all the details.
And then on Monday, you'll run through them all for everybody else.
We'll just make it quick.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
I want you to grab your phone right now and get ready to text us because I want to know what you do in this situation. So be ready. 877-2-RADIO-U.
You should always be ready anyways.
You should be, but
now especially.
In particular, I really want to know what everybody else does. So you pull up to a friend's house, you walk up to their apartment, whatever. Do you ring the doorbell? Do you knock on the door? Mm-hmm. Or do you just text, I'm here?
Yeah.
So what do you do?
I'll usually text.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the confrontation of a doorbell.
Feel like it's intense?
Yeah, but, whenever people come over, they still always ring the bell. So,
always?
Well, most of the time.
Because I'll tell you what, I don't ring the doorbell usually. I mean, I guess if I'm dropping in unannounced, which why would you do that ever?
That's not nice. That's not being a friend.
You better be dropping off a gift, is all I'm saying.
You could just drive by and throw it out, but please don't ever, actually come on in.
Yeah, I will say my friend Chris came over the other day, rang the doorbell, and he was dropping off an Obi-Wan Kenobi action figure that he bought for me.
Well, then that was nice of him.
That's good. That's a good one.
Now, technically, since I have a smart doorbell, it's attached and it's got a camera, so they ring and let me know when someone's coming up anyways. And then if they push the doorbell, then it'll run through my phone. Okay.
Well, Nick says that he texted in that he would knock or ring. JC says in the car you text, at the door you knock. But it doesn't look like he's ringing the doorbell. This comes from, I saw it trending on Twitter last night and even into this morning, a guy named Stella Stan. He tweeted, can someone write an article on millennials killing the doorbell industry by texting here?
Yeah.
Which, dude.
Is there a doorbell industry, though?
Of course there is.
But what do you mean? They're just always there on the place anyways. You rent or you buy, there's a doorbell always there.
Yeah, but somebody had to install it.
But they're not going to go changing that.
Yeah, but now there's a whole new industry of what? Replacing with smart doorbells.
Yes, that is still, well, that's even better. That way you don't even have to, you can just turn it off. Then you don't hear the ringing anyways.
So, but see, there is an industry for that. It exists. And so I just want to know, this guy's saying that millennials have killed the doorbell. I want to know what people do. Stacy says, I knock on the door. I have dogs and get super annoyed that they bark when someone rings the doorbell.
That's the worst.
They unplugged their doorbell. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Stephanie says, text when getting close and then knock. Ayla says, just walk in. My friends say I'm weird and overly confident.
So you're just going into the house?
Well, Ayla...
if it's a friend, that's
I'll
fine.
I'll just tell you, my door's locked. You're not coming in. Justin says, ring the doorbell repeatedly until they open the door. I have friends where I would do that.
Yeah.
Just annoy the crap out of them until they come to the door.
If you think about it, too, since we don't always go over to everybody's houses as friends, it's more also dealing with delivery drivers. So for Amazon and UPS and FedEx, and normally within a window, they ring the bell. So unless they start changing things, we still need the doorbell.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like the doorbell is important? Okay, the guy,
no.
You know what? Complete side note. Yesterday, I was taking a nap, and, was? I know this was 2 days ago, and I don't know what the heck, but like, whether it was Amazon or the post office or what, they like threw the package at the door.
Did you hear
I heard
it?
the thunk, and then they rang the doorbell, and I was like, well, thank you,
Sometimes
pal.
I think they just throw it at the doorbell. They hope to hit it
Lord
then.
have mercy. Whatever it wasn't broken, but it should have been.
Now, that would be nice if they could it automatically sends a text and says, hey, your package. I get one after, but it'd be nice instead of ringing the doorbell if they just
Got
said
one
it's now
before?
at the door.
All right. So it sounds like you're still in favor of doorbells, Nikki.
I think it's
Which
still
surprises me.
It's an a smart doorbell. We should all just switch over to that.
Wow, not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on Radio U.
Today, well, I guess it was technically yesterday, last night, CNET really ruffled some feathers. A guy by the name of Alfred NG posted an article that just basically talks about something that I actually wondered about, but didn't know it was a thing. Mm-hmm. In 50 different neighborhoods across the United States, police officers are trying to partner with local communities to get access to the cameras
footage
on your Ring doorbell.
Yeah, you never heard of that?
No.
We have like community, not just Facebook pages, but the apps and stuff. And they're always trying to send footage and share with police officers for anything that goes on. A lot of people have cameras nowadays, and so they just use it to try to figure out and try to get someone arrested for something.
I look at this, and here's kind of where I've thought about this quite a bit. If the police requested the footage and I was free to say no, then great. But my guess is where this is actually headed is that at some point it will no longer be optional for you to share the footage, and they'll probably just be able to take it anyway. And I know what you're saying, like, oh, Obadiah, blah, blah, blah. What's the big deal? But this is what I think is interesting. We are moving closer and closer and closer to a surveillance society. We're putting cameras everywhere.
Yeah,
like
but
they're just everywhere.
I think other cities have that anyways, but you're just not used to it on a residential level.
Right.
Which is weird. But until the first time you have something stolen and you're like, well, I'm glad I have the footage, or if a neighbor or a friend does.
No. I get that. Like, I understand what you're saying, but there is just this element that slowly but surely we're just turning up the heat.
I think the one thing that is the worrisome part of it, and what I see more, is that they'll see someone in the neighborhood, like, hey, we'll always see a post of, did you see someone walking along this path? Did you see someone driving by? And they immediately go to trying to find someone's house with footage of the person because they're so overly concerned that it might be someone who's there for a malicious reason, when it could just be someone driving through the neighborhood. They immediately jump on trying to track down and figure out who the person is.
I don't like it.
Which could lead to someone blaming you for when, it's not your fault.
At some point, and I feel like I should be free to walk through my neighborhood without being observed. Sure. I should be able to do things in my life without being observed. And I know that this sounds ridiculous, and you're like, this is just a weak, slippery slope argument. But how long before we go from, we've got all these cameras outside our houses, we're already putting cameras inside our houses, and it's like, hey, what do you have to hide? Why do you care if the police have access to that? Why don't you want the government to have access to your webcam? And again, I get it. You're like, that won't happen. It won't be like that. No. Here's what I think happens. We're maybe not even a generation away from that just being
the normal.
A thing. It just being totally normal, because right now, basically what you need the people that don't remember privacy to die off. And then all of a sudden the people that want privacy seem like criminals. Like, why do you want privacy? Why don't you want everyone to know what's going on?
So is that a no for the smart doorbell
no for
you? You don't even want one?
No, I did want one.
Yeah.
And here's what's really funny is I wanted one, and then I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I do want one. And then I read this article and I was like, well,
you really don't want one.
There it is.
Oh, it's so convenient and nice to have, though. And that's why we all will end up doing it. That's what we do.
We trade our freedom and privacy for convenience.
That's it.
Which, I do that all the time. Yeah, I'll download your app and give you access to my contacts and everything else in exchange for a $1 coupon. Of course I will. Why wouldn't I?
If it's louder than it has to be and way worse than it has any right to be, it must be the worst of the riot on Radio U.
All right, Nikki, what's going on? Because we found out yesterday, Nikki found out yesterday that McDonald's is no longer accepting its Big Mac coins in exchange for a Big Mac.
I finally went yesterday to use one of them. I thought they were good for like the life of McDonald's.
For life.
But it was only 2018, and obviously I'm a few months past that, so no go on that. But
I just got to tell you, as the manager, I would have given you a Big Mac.
Thank you. I thought so too.
Don't you think so? Because like at some point you're like, all right, store cost for a Big Mac, next to nothing.
Annoying a customer.
Like, that's the real danger there. They've got a Big Mac coin. Now, if you came in every day this year with a Big Mac coin, it would be one of those things where I would come out and tell you, these are technically no longer good. However, I will honor them today, but you can't use them again.
And I was just so excited to use it, which, I mean, how often do we go into McDonald's excited to give them any money?
Every time I go.
Oh, is it? So today for McDonald's, they're promoting their worldwide favorites items. And those are 4 international limited time menu options today. So for some people, you like doing this stuff and you don't mind the rush and the madhouse of it. For others, this is when you don't want to go to McDonald's today because it's going to be crazy. For today, from 2 to 5, customers can take any piece of any foreign currency.
Okay.
Any amount, any piece, any foreign currency, and trade it in for one of those 4 items from their new international worldwide favorites menu.
Yeah, but just to let you know, the ice cream machine doesn't work. So
well, that's one of the items, though. So it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to equal the amount. So if you go in and bring a peso or something, like you don't have to come up with the amount that the item costs. You can bring any amount and turn it in. It's for the Stroopwafel McFlurry from the Netherlands.
That's what I want.
The Graham Extreme Bacon Burger from Spain.
Sounds pretty good.
The Tomato Mozzarella Chicken Sandwich from Canada.
No.
And though they say Australia, the Cheesy Bacon Fries. We've already had the Cheesy Bacon Fries.
I'll take those, though.
Eat them there, though. They're not good once they leave the store.
You got to get them right away.
There's a very small window of opportunity for that. So it's a 1 exchange per customer limit.
Okay.
So only 1 item. And each local McDonald's will decide what they want to do with their foreign currency that they collect today. So if they donate it somewhere or whatever they're going to do.
Okay, sure. So this is from 2 until 5?
2 until 5 today.
Today only?
Yes.
You're sure the date is today?
Yes, it
so
says
if I walk
today.
in and order that and hand them like a Canadian coin.
Yeah, it's today.
Dude, Jim, you and I are on the exact same page. I was literally thinking, I know I've got a Canadian penny somewhere.
You can take that. You can exchange it for one of those items, but you know it'll be busy. I mean, I have
That's why you got to go at 2 o'clock.
You do right when they start. I have a piggy bank, and I usually take it to like one of those coin machines, and it doesn't take foreign coins. So I always have a couple that just get spit back out. I put it back in the piggy bank. Never do anything with it, so we should have something.
You can get yourself some French fries or a burger today.
I could. Or the Stroopwafel McFlurry. I think that's all what we're leaning towards.
The ice cream machine's broken.
No, it'll work fine.
No, it's not.
So
it's
that's today
broken.
from 2 to 5 if you're interested.
All right. You know what, Nikki? I could use a little international flair over here.
Seemed to be what you were missing today.
Absolutely.
A Rotten Tomatoes score so high, they refuse to make it public. The Riot on Radio U.
If you have not been paying attention, it is a World Cup year. And you're like, no, dude, it's Women's World Cup this year. And so it plays out just like the quote-unquote men's World Cup.
Yeah.
And so that's happening this summer, and it's happening in France. And I thought this was kind of cool. Fox Sports is going to be streaming a bunch of the games in 4K.
Hey.
I would be interested in that because I've never seen a television broadcast in 4K. Only film.
For whatever is like the newest sort of, 4K is still the newest hotness for the most part. I mean, there's still 8K stuff, but good luck finding that anywhere. But for 4K, what always looks the best and what they really try to put money in to get you to move over to it would be sports.
Yes.
Because that's the biggest stuff with a lot of money behind it.
And it's the cheapest thing to produce, aside from like nature shows in 4K, because really all like people are doing all the work. There's no script. There's no this. They just point the camera and shoot.
Add some graphics. You're good.
Yeah.
Call it a day.
Yeah. So it looks like the only way this time that you'll be able to do it, Fox Sports and Fox Now, their apps on Apple TV or Roku. And if you have either the Apple TV 4K or the Roku 4K, which is like the Premiere and a couple of other things, and you can download those apps, you'll be able to watch.
So, yeah, you have to have all the equipment.
There's
you have to have that first.
It's not as simple as it just happening.
Well, I just don't want someone to be like, no, I heard. Yeah, you have to have your end taken care of first to be able to get it.
Yeah, your HD TV will not magically become 4K, et cetera, et cetera. So the other side of that is 4K TVs now, they come free in the mail. I mean, they're
it's cheaper than it was.
Yeah.
But I would like to watch some sports because with the stuff that I watch with 4K, some of it you're just like, I think I'm watching it in 4K. Like some of it's not 100% like this amazing transition.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you that that's just kind of 4K.
That's just how it is.
I mean, I don't want to badmouth it too much because I have enjoyed it, but I have a 70-inch 4K TV and a 55-inch, and I feel like the 70-inch is the place where I can really tell. On the 55-inch, it's like
kind of. Sports and nature stuff though is where it does shine through.
It does shine. HDR seems to be a bigger deal really than 4K does, because I've even seen stuff in HD in HDR. Anybody getting lost yet? And that, I mean, even with that, you notice a big difference. Yeah. And I notice it more with games than I do with movies. Like if you're playing a video game and you can play it at a higher resolution, it really shines. But you know,
so if you're a fan of the World Cup for the women's one coming up and you like 4K, there's your thing.
No word on if they'll do any virtual reality stuff for that. But when I got that new Oculus Rift, I watched some of WrestleMania in virtual reality. Yeah, that was lame. It wasn't
even like, oh, this is something new. It was just the tech is not there.
I watched archive footage of it, and it just didn't look very good. And it wasn't like, hey, I'm there. It was more like, I feel like I'm stuck inside a weird bubble looking out. It was not quite what I wanted it to be, but you know, they're always looking at new ways to get you to watch commercials. I mean, stuff that there is also a commercial on.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Did you see the new Brad Pitt movie?
Which one?
The trailer they put out yesterday?
Oh, is it was that him in the Ferrari one, or is that a different? Oh, the astronaut one.
Yeah.
I only saw the picture. I didn't see the trailer.
You know, as much as we right here on this show have been talking about your great love for space.
I don't like space.
I don't understand how it is that there's a new space movie out there with Brad Pitt in it.
And I go back and forth on if I like Brad Pitt in certain things. So I don't know.
I actually thought, I was super skeptical and kind of rolled my eyes when I saw the thing. And then I watched the trailer and I was like, okay, I'm in.
Does it look good?
I thought the trailer looked fantastic. Sincerely, it looked really good.
Even if a person doesn't like space?
I mean, I don't know, but it looks like seems to be, there may be at some point in the trailer where they mention a date, but it seems to be kind of near future where we're a little further along in the space program than we are now, but it's not like Star Trek or Star Wars or something like that.
So is it Ad Astra?
Ad Astra.
And it'll be out at the end of September.
It looks really good. It comes out the day before my birthday. So, right there, I celebrate my birthday with space movies.
This is how you're going to actually celebrate.
So there's that. And then the other thing is that, Nikki, you could, take me and buy me popcorn and all this stuff.
You want to go for your birthday?
Together.
I can take you for your birthday.
Yeah.
I guess I'll sit. I can sit there.
Get me a gift card.
To go see it yourself?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to bring it down. What if I don't like the movie and I don't want to ruin your birthday?
I don't care.
If you want to take, like your dad, I could see you and your dad loving this.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
That's totally up both of you guys' alley right there.
Absolutely. Like we really would like this movie. So.
Well, maybe I'll watch the trailer then.
Okay. In fact, this movie is about Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones, who plays his dad in this movie.
See, I don't think I could go then. I don't want. It's for you and your dad to go see.
I knew that you were. Here's how I knew that you were lying when you were like, "Oh yeah, you want me to take you? I'll take you." Do you know that you looked down at your watch as soon as you said that?
Oh, because I was like, well, I just wanted to see how long I'd have to pretend that I was going to take you.
Yeah, but that just told me.
Is that my tell?
I knew you were lying because you couldn't look me in the eyes.
Well, I want to support you, but I really don't want to go see a space movie. Okay. But I will if needed, but I don't want to.
Yeah, that's good. All right.
And if someone were to treat me, meaning I wouldn't have to pay, that'd be even better because I'd feel bad.
This is like I had a conversation not long ago with somebody else. It was a girl.
Yeah.
And we were basically talking about the idea of like, when everybody gets together to watch movies, we have to watch the girls' movies first. And then when it's guy movie time, the girls either leave or sleep. And it's just like, this is super fair, guys. Uh-huh. This feels great.
Let's see. Did you go over the storyline for it?
The idea behind it is that Brad Pitt is an astronaut who's working in space, blah, blah, blah. He gets injured. Something happens. He's an
Army Corps engineer, and he goes on a space mission to find where the mysterious disappearance of his dad.
Yes.
Yeah. So who set out on a journey to Neptune.
Well, yeah, they don't really tell you. Like, he went far out into space to test something.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't know what it is or what effect it's having and all this kind of stuff. So,
all right. Well, there it is.
I think it looks good.
It's been pushed back a couple of times, they said.
That doesn't sound good. Yeah. That part doesn't sound very good.
Ad Astra was supposedly back in January and then supposed to be back in May, and it looks like it's just later in September.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Or whenever it comes out. Who knows?
Oh, look, Billy says, let's do it. Take Obadiah to the movies for his birthday contest.
Oh, my gosh. That would be so much fun. That would be. You guys could all go together.
You're going to.
Well, I would set it up for you guys.
You're going to.
No, I'll just be out of the theater.
You're going to.
And then that way I can welcome people as they come in, get snacks for everybody. You guys can have your own section.
Hey, you know what? With all due respect, Billy, I don't know what kind of freak show is going to win that contest.
No, you guys, we could do the whole theater. The whole theater of everybody.
No, that's not going to work either. I already know it's not going to happen.
He doesn't want to do it.
No, we just won't make it happen.
It just won't work out.
The Riot. They're kind of a big deal.
Hey, can we do that again? Maybe a little more energy?
No. RadioU.
I don't know if you caught it, Nikki, but there was a Taco Bell in Louisiana that ran out of taco shells this week.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You had one job, guys. One job.
Hey, you know what? Like, in fairness, that means that they're doing the rest of their job really well because they sold out.
Yeah, that's true. So, or unless, is it selling out or they just didn't have enough to begin with? They ran out.
I don't know the answer, but the Slidell Police Department tweeted the following. It's been a while, but another we can't make this stuff up story. Oh, this is from Facebook, not Twitter. Somebody called in to complain that the Taco Bell on Goss Boulevard ran out of both hard and soft taco shells. While this is truly a travesty, the police can't do anything about it. Hopefully they're replenished in time for Taco Tuesday.
You know, with the police, could you have called the non-emergency number or were they like calling 911?
I do find it interesting the kinds of things that people will call the police for as if the police need to get involved. Like, my cable's out. They are robbing me.
Whereas I would feel so hesitant even if like I've been stabbed. Well, I don't want to bother them.
Yeah, the police are busy.
They're busy. I can make my own way to the hospital.
I'm not bleeding out. Like I'll just drive myself.
It's perfectly fine. But then on the other side, someone's like, oh, they're out of taco shells. I'm calling the cops.
I'm calling the cops right now.
So they are calling 911. So
yeah. You know what? It feels like this was this was one of those places. Okay, I had a friend. I had a couple step siblings. They didn't live with us, so like we didn't have this a lot. But I had a friend who he and his sister fought all the time, and every time there was even the slightest of the slight whatever, mom and dad were immediately involved.
Really?
Immediately. Like, there was never let's teach some conflict management skills. It was like mom and dad were involved.
Even if you guys fought it out, that would have been better.
That's what this feels like. Like somebody who was never allowed to, manage conflict with one of their siblings. And instead they were like, well, I am calling mom right now.
And in this case, mom and dad are the police.
Well, they graduated to needing to call the police. So
I think it's just hard for some people to not realize that things might not work out for them right then and there. Like, I know that's what you wanted, but they're out. What can you do about it?
Sometimes there just aren't any taco shells. You're like, you know what? I'll tell you
That's
what.
a life lesson right there, and I feel like I can go deeper than just what we think right now.
See, I feel like this is a great time to start negotiating. Like, okay, how much would you charge me for a cup of meat and cheese?
Yeah, what do I get?
Give me a fork. All right,
close
spoon.
down. And it's also hard too. I mean, you could go there and they're out of taco shells, and maybe they're on their side not being nice or understanding about it and just being rude to the people coming in to buy the stuff.
Yeah, but you still don't call the police.
Correct.
What you do is you don't go to that establishment.
You shouldn't
That's
be
how
going
they
in
get
anyways.
punished.
Just go through the drive-thru.
You know, if we're going to get that 50,000 feet view, I got another one for you. You shouldn't be going to Taco Bell anyway.
Well, sometimes you just want Taco Bell. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do.
Mm-hmm. You know what?
And you want the taco.
That's what they're calling the police as a cry for help. Like, I almost went to Taco Bell. I'm a danger to myself and others. Please
Don't
help
let me go there.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
I feel like I'm stuck inside a weird bubble.